This time on Backtales Stories, we dive into one of the Pacific's most enduring mysteries. A creature whispered about for over a century. A long-necked sea serpent known as Cadborosaurus. This will be a fascinating journey, so stay with me until the very end. Because there, you'll discover a secret. 3 fragments of evidence. Sketches drawn by eyewitnesses, a mysterious photograph, and a vanished carcass once kept in a museum. When combined, they may reveal the closest image we have of the monster said to haunt these waters. But first, let us return to the foggy shores where the legend began. The name Cadborosaurus comes from Cadborough Bay, near Victoria in British Columbia. In the late 1800s, fishermen spoke of something with a horse-like head and a serpentine body. Sometimes it basked near shore. Other times it slipped beneath the waves, only to reappear miles away. Reports were dismissed as tavern talk, until newspapers began to take notice. And by the 1930s, the legend of Cadborosaurus had spread far beyond Canada's coast. In 1933, the Victoria Daily Times carried a sensational story. 2 hunters at Naden Harbor claimed they had killed Cadborosaurus. They described a creature 20 feet long, with a camel-like head, a long, sinuous neck, and fins sharp as blades. The body, they swore, was real. Locals saw it. Even photographs may have been taken. But when officials arrived, it was gone, dragged away by tide, or hidden on purpose. That same decade, more sightings followed. A whaling crew watched a serpent twist through the surf. A passenger liner reported a long-necked animal keeping pace with the ship for minutes before vanishing beneath the waves. Children playing on a beach described a dragon raising its head above the water, then slipping beneath as though it had never been there. Descriptions varied in detail, yet the core remained. The horse-like head, the elongated neck, the serpentine body rippling through the sea. And then came the strangest tale of all. A carcass said to be stored inside the Royal British Columbia Museum. Whispers of a Caddy cadaver spread. Some insisted it was kept in a tank, a preserved specimen, proof of the monster itself. But over the years, it too vanished. Museum officials deny it ever existed, yet older staff swore they had seen it. Another mystery, erased. But Cadborosaurus was never just one fleeting story. Through the 19th and early 20th centuries, reports surfaced again and again along Canada's Pacific coast. Ship captains wrote of a serpent pacing their vessels, keeping speed with wind and tide. Hunters told of strange wakes forming on still waters, as though something vast moved just beneath the surface. Even officers of the Royal Canadian Navy quietly acknowledged the legend. Some claimed they too had seen a head rise above the waves, before sinking silently back into the sea. By the mid-20th century, Cadborosaurus had become more than a monster. It was part of coastal identity. Restaurants bore its name. Tourist brochures spoke of the Pacific's own sea dragon. Parents told stories of Caddy to their children, half warning, half lullaby. And in the small communities of British Columbia, the creature became a symbol of mystery, a reminder that the sea holds more secrets than science admits. Through the decades, dozens of eyewitness accounts emerged. A fisherman near Comox described a creature surfacing beside his boat, its head the size of a horse, its eyes dark and unblinking.
Another witness told of seeing a long, coiled form blocking out the moonlight beneath the water, as if a living submarine passed silently below. Not all encounters were harmless. Stories spread of overturned boats, fishermen who never returned, and supplies left adrift without explanation. By the 1990s, a handful of biologists began to examine the reports. Some compared the descriptions to giant oarfish, others to basking sharks whose remains can look serpentine. But none of these explanations accounted for the long neck, the horse-like head, or the sheer number of consistent accounts. Even local indigenous traditions speak of sea serpents, beings that protected certain waters and punished those who disrespected them. To some elders, Cadborosaurus was not a monster, but a guardian spirit of the Pacific.
Even in modern times, the legend persists. In 2009, fishermen in Alaska filmed a strange serpent-like form moving through the waves. Skeptics dismissed it as fish. Believers pointed to its long, coiling shape, a familiar silhouette of Cadborosaurus. So what could Caddy truly be? Biologists argue it is nothing more than misidentification. Giant oarfish reaching 20 feet. Basking sharks whose rotting carcasses look like sea serpents. Or sea lions and whales glimpsed at strange angles. But cryptozoologists see something more. A relic marine reptile, a survivor of prehistory, still gliding through the cold trenches of the Pacific. And what of the promise I made at the beginning? 3 fragments remain, each a piece of the Cadborosaurus mystery. First, the old newspaper sketches, drawn in the 1930s by those who swore they saw it. Second, the photograph from 1937, a long, coiled body pulled ashore at Naden Harbor. Skeptics call it a whale fetus. Believers see Cadborosaurus. And third, the whispers of the Caddy cadaver, once stored in a museum, now missing without a trace. 3 clues, 3 shadows of a legend. And when combined, they form a haunting image. A horse-like head, a serpent's body, and a name whispered through fog and tide. Cadborosaurus. But what do you think? Do you believe there is truth hidden in this story? Or only shadows and imagination? Once again, I'll leave that for you to decide. Share your thoughts in the comments below. You've been watching Backtales Stories. Stay curious and stay safe.